And we kick it off right here with this. President Trump touches down in Indiana last night, rallying his supporters hours after revealing he will be meeting with Kim Jong Un in Singapore on June 12th. He welcomed home 3 Americans formerly detained by North Korea. Listen to what the negotiator-in-chief touted his recent foreign policy achievements as, while explaining why his 2020 re-election campaign is Keep America Great.
This is truly an exciting time for our country. Jobs are booming. America is being respected again. I had the incredible honor of greeting 3 brave Americans. And on June 12th, in Singapore, I'll be meeting with Kim Jong Un. Fake news where they were saying he's going to get us into a nuclear war. And you know what gets you into nuclear wars? And you know what gets you into other wars? Weakness. Weakness. We're not going to be walked into an Iran deal where the negotiator, John Kerry, refused to leave the table. Obama, President Obama, paid $1.8 billion for hostages. Kim Jong Un did a great service to himself, to his country. Those hostages came out with respect. We didn't pay for them.
Meanwhile, back in Washington, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will be meeting with South Korea's foreign minister to lay the groundwork for talks between the president and South Korean President Moon Jae-in, which comes ahead of his historic North Korea summit. Joining us now to talk more about that, global economics editor of the Wall Street Journal, John Hilsenrath. John, good morning to you.
Hey, Maria, great to be here.
Any market reaction, John, to the president's foreign policy changes? What are you seeing out there?
Well, you know, I think if we end up doing some kind of deal with the North Koreans and they denuclearize, I think it's a hugely positive development for the market. I mean, one of the great uncertainties on the global landscape right now is the threat of a nuclear North Korea. So I think it would be a really positive development. I think it's a little bit too soon. But, you know, as Dagan was saying at the outset of your segment today, we've had a couple of, big triple-digit rallies the last few days. So maybe the market is feeling some of that positive vibe. You know, the other thing I'd say, you just ran all these clips from Donald Trump and last night. He was in Elkhart, Indiana. We had a story about them a month or so ago. This has seen the biggest, Elkhart, Indiana has seen the biggest turnaround in the job market in this entire country. They had nearly 20% unemployment at the worst in the financial crisis. They're down to under 3%.
Do you think that's worked its way through the markets in terms of these foreign policy issues, in terms of the North Korea issue, that if we were to see the nuclear threat off the table from North Korea?
I think it's balancing out rising concerns about withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal, the increased tensions between Iran and Syria and Israel, that there has been some balance there. If you look at what oil prices are doing, I have to look and see where they closed yesterday. They closed $71.36 a barrel. There's a lot.
Three-year high.
Right, and they're up a little bit this morning. So I think that with North Korea and people are learning or trying to make sense of, okay, we withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal because it was a lousy one, according to many, and we're drawing a hard line with North Korea. We sent a very clear message to North Korea about what we're willing to do in terms of a nuclear deal, disarmament, denuclearization, and what we're not willing to do.
But the oil prices, do you think that's because of international tensions? I mean, oil prices have been going up steadily for a year. I think it's more related to the improving economy. I mean, oil is, a cliche, I suppose, is the fuel that runs the economy. As the economy grows, we need more oil. I'm not sure there's a direct correlation between what's happening with foreign policy.
But it did get a boost.
There's just real quick, there's $5 to $7 in geopolitical risk, arguably, in the price of crude oil. There's been serious supply disruptions, not just worries about Iran, but also in Venezuela. Demand is strong, but again, that geopolitical risk is what's keeping it above, I'd say, $71.
Well, I would say it's more emotional because the supply disruptions, the amount of oil that we get foreign is a smaller and smaller percentage.
Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I would agree with Dagan. I think a lot of it is geopolitical. And what I would say is as we go into the summer, the worst time we want oil prices to be raising is when most people are doing travel.
Definitely. And so gasoline prices are up.
Right. We don't know where this will lead us. But, you know, listen, there's no question business is doing well. But we had a 5-year low on consumer spending in the last quarter.
By the way, Dick Cheney yesterday told me that he does not think the loss of Iranian oil on the market is going to have any impact on the global markets. And just back from interviewing the former vice president, along with former defense secretary and former CIA director Leon Panetta, and also got their take on the historic summit between President Trump and Kim Jong Un.
I start from the principle that I don't trust North Korea. And I think that's probably a good place for the president to be. They're engaged in what I call accommodation.
I think we have to be very careful, and I think the president is being very careful to go operate in a way that we don't get sort of hung out to dry. If they don't meet our standards, then I'd walk. And but I think so far it's been handled well.
John Hilsenrath, final word from you.
You know, it's just one thing about that Robert talked about on the economy. Yeah, consumer spending was a little soft in the first quarter, but that's often the case. You know, I don't think this is any moment to be counting out the consumer. We have counterbalancing issues right now. On the one hand, oil prices are going up, gas bills are going up, but their tax bills went down. So, but when the job market is as strong as it's been, you know, I don't think the consumer is awfully weak or soft right now.
Every time oil prices move up, we ask the question, is it a result or is it a leading indicator, right? Is it a result of a strong economy that oil prices are going up, or are we seeing oil prices move higher because of oil prices are actually leading?
Yeah, listen, it's an interesting week. We have the dollar up, we have oil up, we have inflation, and we have inflation feeling kind of stagnant. That usually doesn't happen all three at once. So,
on the issue of consumer gas prices heading into the summer, Stephen Short thinks that President Trump will tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We've got about 600 million barrels in the SPR because, again, it's a political issue. You already hear Democrats trying to message that gas prices are going up, it's bad for consumers. You watch them, because it could be used as a political tool heading into the midterms.
And by the way, just to say, make sure I stay, you know, even keel. I was equally supportive when President Obama was in office and oil prices went up to use the strategic reserve then too.
I think I didn't like that, but I'm just saying it's a possibility.
It will be amazing
I saw Stephen Short with you yesterday. He was very good. It was a great interview. I'm sorry.
No, I said it will be amazing how the GOP will like the release of strategic reserves.
Ahead of the midterms.
Into midterms.
John Hilsenrath, thank you, sir. We will see you soon.
Thank you.
Have a great Friday, John.